couple of bedraggled fellas coming out of the creek bank, just walked in the front door, got mud up to their knees.
Navy frogmen.
Norm Newhouse and Bill Overton, staunch volunteers and workers at the Logan County. Is it Logan County Food Pantry? What is the correct pronunciation? Or
Lincoln Logan.
Lincoln Logan. All right. Okay. Bill, how long has Lincoln Logan been in existence insofar as the food pantry is concerned?
It opened in June of 1993. So we're coming up on 18 years now.
18 years.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Has it been at the same location?
It
It's
started
expanded,
out,
of course, but it started in the church basement, did it not?
In the church basement.
First Methodist church basement. Yes.
And then they
Probably outgrew that.
right.
Oh, in a hurry. Yeah.
They just got together and they had the first meeting in like May, and in June of that year, that's when they started it.
Well, Norm, how long have you been involved with the work? Since it started in your church basement, then?
No.
Uh-huh.
Off and on, not real active in it until I retired.
Well, you were a young fellow trying to make a living, for goodness sakes.
How come you said retired?
Huh?
Norman, you're the least retired person I can think of.
My wife keeps telling me that. She said, you may as well just go to work and make money then.
Yeah.
I understand a little bit about
You're
that.
just carrying volunteerism to the max. But, we keep hearing news stories now and then about food pantries and how the picture has changed there. There are still an awful lot of people, contrary to what we hear from Washington, who don't have a job and don't have many prospects. The city doesn't have much money. The county doesn't have much money. The state, a little bit in the hole. Federal government's really in the hole. And all we've got left is one another. We have to be our brother's keeper. And you certainly are doing that with a vengeance. Has your customer, your client load increased?
And when did that... How long ago did you start to notice an increase? And I'm sure it has been a significant increase. A couple of years?
The answer to that really is that it kind of fluctuates. And Norm and I talk about this, that people come to town and leave town or the county, and so that we can register someone and we may not see them again. So that while we register a lot of people, and I think yesterday I registered 5 or 6 families. A few weeks ago, 11 came in. 11 new families came in. But there's just really an ebb and flow. So that a couple of years ago, the increase was 9%, but the next year it was 1% increase. But this from 09 to 010, the increase is 11%.
Well, that's quite a bit. That's a quantum leap, isn't it?
And then the first 3 months of this year compared to the first 3 months of last year, it's increased 18%.
Is that right?
18%.
It's hard for you to get hard and fast numbers, though, obviously, with the fluctuation. Is that right?
Well, we keep the numbers. We know all the time how many we have.
How many came?
Yeah. But it's and for example, last year in 2010, we had 1,243 different families come through the food pantry. So we know who's coming in and we just don't know when they leave town.
Well, I'd like to get specific and tell us how the modus operandi of the food pantry. There's family A out here, family B. So how do they find out about the food pantry, and how do they avail themselves of what you have to offer? And what is the cutoff? What are the qualifications? Pretty hard to qualify folks who have a real need, and I understand that.
Right. Well, they pretty much find out about it by word of mouth. I mean, that's every circle has its how the word gets out. So that's pretty much how it gets out. There's the eligibility, and we probably didn't bring that sheet with us, but it's For a single person, it's $1,175 per month income. So if you make less than that, and that's all we ask, is you make less than that, we don't want to know how much you make, and then it goes up $600 per family member. That's how it's the government guidelines are. Then they sign up, and all we ask them then is their name, their address, how many is in the family, and
Food stamps.
and food stamps. And that's optional.
Whether they have them?
Right. And it doesn't affect the outcome at all. It just lets us know they automatically qualify. So their guidelines are the same as ours. But we don't ask for proof of that. And then we keep track, and then they put down how many's in the family, and then we keep track of it. Every time they come, they sign in and they put down the same thing that we ask them, how many in the family. If that changes, we change it on our records. They're allowed to come once a month. We're open on Tuesday mornings and Thursday afternoons, and then once a month on the second Wednesday is Seniors and People with Disabilities Day, which we treat them a little bit different. We carry them through and take stuff to the car. I mean, we follow them through, help them with the basket, and take them to the car.
Now, I know that the churches send things to you. Where do you get all of the inventory it must take to give these people the food?
And we kind of want to adjust that matter of inventory, too, in conjunction with that question.
Well, the real short answer is that Logan County is a very giving county. It's amazing. It's truly amazing. I don't think anybody would know how giving it is until they would be on our side and see what really comes in. But I mean, there are times that we're just blown away with the donations, not only of food but of money, and a lot of people really want to know about that. Whether the money is, do we have to buy food? Well, of course we have to buy a lot of food. We're always going to a grocery store or someplace and buying food. We also buy from the Central Illinois Food Bank in Springfield. But you know, the short answer is that it's businesses, it's people, it's groups like Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, school kids. Everybody thinks it's really just the churches, and churches are do very well by us, but it's really everybody.
Our church collects always non-perishables, toilet paper, paper towels, shampoo, lotion, all these sorts, laundry soap, you know, those sorts of things. But you have milk and butter and eggs too, don't you? Now, how do you come by that? That must be where the money comes in.
It is.
That's the products that we have to purchase, and it's amazing. You know, butter is to me it's relatively inexpensive, but that's one of the things. If they have a choice, that's one of those things they take. They very much like butter, and they also like eggs. Eggs goes a long ways.
Oh yes.
Now, your inventory will cover, say, from aardvark to zebra. What is included in your, and it's pretty significant. I've been there. Those of us have been privileged to see what goes on there. It's really an eye-opener. What is included in your inventory in general?
I guess the easiest way to explain that would be let me walk through how once a person comes in and they sign in, and then they start around. It's kind of like it's a U shape. And the first thing they go to is a deep freeze, and in that deep freeze there could be whole chickens. We have 3 to 4 pound roast beef, rounded roast beef right now. There is sausage in there, 2 or 3 different kinds. There's pre-cooked bacon in there. Then
like lunch meats and things at all?
No, we're going to the next cooler.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm at the wrong cooler.
So then the next cooler is lunch meats.
Okay.
And there we typically purchase most of all of that. In fact, all the frozen food and that we cannot accept because we don't know where people kept it.
Well, yeah.
So
right.
Anyway, so we would have at least 4, sometimes up to 6 lunch meats in there. There would be, depending on the time, we would either have milk and butter or eggs and butter in there.
Jeez.
And we have juices from time to time. And then you come on around the corner and there's vegetables, and they get to pick their own vegetables. Be a full range of vegetables, and they get to pick.
Fresh or canned?
Canned vegetables. Most everything is canned except for periodically, especially in the summer when the churches and
Yes.
people bring stuff in. Then you go to the next section, next set of shelves, and then there's soups and fruits. And then you turn the corner, and they have macaroni and cheese, peanut butter, and right now it happens to be SpaghettiOs. And then the next section would be cereal. And we've had a board member that specifically wanted us to make sure that we gave people enough cereal because of children. So we're pretty lenient with cereal.
With cereal.
If there's 2 people in the family, I think this is right, they get 1 box. If there's 3 people, they get 2 boxes. And if it's over 5, they get 3 boxes of cereal. And then there's a table on the left-hand side that can have pastries. We pick up bread and pastries at Kroger's every day except Wednesdays, and so therefore we've got bread and pastries all the time. Then there's a catch-all shelf that would have we buy stuff. The staples would be mustard, ketchup. From time to time we have sugar. Then the oddball stuff that people bring in, that goes on that shelf, and that's they get a pick off of that also. And then the next step, I already mentioned bread, but then they go to bread, and then as they walk out the door, there would be toilet paper towels, soap, toothpaste, toothbrush, and so forth.
Those things.
Right.
Now,
Excuse me, please.
the commodities that schools used to get, I don't even know if there are commodities anymore. Are there? And are you eligible for them?
Yeah, we're eligible through the Central Illinois Food Bank, and each month we will get, on the second Wednesday of each month, we get a shipment of usually around 5 or 6 different commodities. That'll typically be some kind of meat, like chicken. Typically is the meat. Then we'll get some kind of juice. There'll be large container, 64-ounce bottles of apple juice or something like that. Sometimes it's peanut butter. This time we have peanut butter, applesauce, and canned corn are the commodities that we've gotten in, along with the rounds of beef. So we get that every month, and we don't have to pay for that. Those are free.
That's
from
like
the USDA.
Government surplus, allegedly. Is that right?
That's right.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's government surplus plus the canned goods. They have to. I mean, they buy that somehow. I don't know how they buy it, but they have to buy it on some kind of program.
But to you ultimately, it's there's no charge.
There's no
is
charge,
that right?
right.
Yeah. Now I'm interested in if Bill and I came there, we'd be buying for 2 people and a dog.
Yeah, don't forget. Well, 2 dogs.
Yeah, and some, as you say, have several children as well. Now, would we just be on our honor to take enough for one, or to take what we need for the 8 of us, or how does somebody go with you, or do you just shop?
At each station would be the first freezer, the cooler, and the vegetables and so forth around there. There's a little sticker, and it's just a little bit different at each station, but it's the first thing was, and I can remember it because I work it quite a bit. But anyway, the frozen food is 1 to 2. They get 2 picks out of the deep freeze. Over that, they get 3. At 5, they get 4, and in over 7, they get 5 picks out of there. Then and it's that way all the way around. There's somebody there that just tells them what they're eligible for, but lets them. It's their choice. We're full choice, so they get to choose the the can of peas they want, or the green beans they want, or carrots, or whatever.
The expression "somebody's there" brings to mind, Judith K., that it's not Bill and Norm only. You have quite a staff of fellow volunteers. And how many will show up on a given day when you're open?
Volunteers,
Mm-hmm.
we'll have probably minimum of 8, and normally we will have in the range of 12 to 14.
Do you schedule these people then, or do they come if they're free Tuesday morning?
No, we don't schedule them. At one time they scheduled them, and it becomes,
Didn't work that well.
It becomes a problem. It's kind of like, there's a group that comes on Tuesdays mornings, and there's a group that comes on Thursday afternoons.
And they just look forward to
They
that.
just know that that's on their schedule.
If they're gone someplace, sometimes they'll let us know, but we don't really worry about it. We either rely on somebody else coming in that just happens to remember it, or we end up a little bit short that day. But we've never come close to really sweat it, but we never really have a problem.
Well, when you're dealing with volunteers, if they get a better offer, you can't really say, gee, I'm sorry.
The only time the Wednesday thing, and that's basically, people get used to, if they can remember once a week that I'm going to go to the pantry and work on Tuesday, I'm going to work on Thursday afternoon, but they don't remember the second Wednesday, so we do have a problem there. We just need to start signing people up or look for new volunteers for that day.
Well, we might put out a little plea. If somebody's interested in helping serve the community, get in contact with Bill Overton or Norm Newhouse, and they'd be tickled to death to put their name on the list. And you can never have too many volunteers.
Right. And the phone number is 217-732-6644.
Repeat that, Billy.
217-732-6644.
And it's the Lincoln Logan Food Pantry. It's not just for Lincoln.
That's right.
Now, speaking of volunteerism, it just isn't the days that we have people who have need go there. We're getting new stuff in constantly, and you have to have somebody there to receive that stuff and put it away and make records and so forth. So it's an ongoing project, is it not?
There's someone at the pantry off and on every day.
Every day.
Like Norm said, we bring bread in every day but Wednesday, but I can guarantee you there's a lot of Wednesdays that, we'll be at the pantry, and I will be there bringing in meat and canned goods sometime today. I have to do that.
Now, if a person were just coming to town and didn't know what your hours were and were destitute and desperate, could they stop there?
Well,
if they found you there?
Well, that does happen. That we.
And then you tell them when to come back.
Yeah, we tell them that it's in fact it's posted on our. There's 2 signs, one on Logan Street and one off the parking lot, and it does tell the hours, and we suggest that they come at those times. We don't like to turn anyone away, so if someone is at the door, we'll say, ask them what their needs are, and perhaps get them a sack full of some bread and lunch meat or something like that. They would, can of fruit and some things that'll,
tide them over,
kind of a bridge until we're open. So that happens from time to time. We really would prefer to have people come to the pantry when we're open, and the reason for that is because at that point the place will be well stocked. We have to stock the shelves, obviously, like a grocery store. And so.
Well, and you can't have it a totally laissez-faire approach either, or you could be there 24/7. You've got to have some kind of a plan, I should suspect. I have a plan in my life, too, that I haven't discovered yet.
Gentlemen, I'd like to ask both of you, are there any unusual incidents that come to mind to either one of you that while you've been in this process over the number of years we have? I don't want to ask you any out of school questions, of course. That goes without saying.
Well, let me take this opportunity to make an announcement that we need to make anyway, and that is, I'm not trying to dodge your question, Bill, but we really do. On May 10th, there will be
Isn't it hard to maintain your train of thought when the zoo opens here?
And a black cat runs across it.
This is called Lincoln Country Zoo.
How big is the zoo? It's
Wait till the elephant comes.
But we digress. Go ahead,
How many
Billy.
critters do we have? On May 10th, at 6 o'clock, there'll be a semi out in our parking lot available to anyone who would like to come and get food. There'll be a sign-in sheet, but there's no requirements for who can get the food. We'd like them to be from Logan County, of course, but the semi will be coming from the Central Illinois Food Bank in Springfield, and they'll have a variety of items to choose from. There'll be produce and various canned items that we expect. We really don't know exactly what all they'll bring, but we want to take the opportunity to let people know that that's going to be available.
Is this a brand new thing? Has this ever happened before?
It hasn't happened here, and it's only happened in a few places in Central Illinois. They're starting a new program. So we just really want to take the opportunity to get the word out. We've only known about it ourselves for about a week. So.
And people can, like, shop in the semi?
We're actually going to set it up on pallets. It will actually come off of the semi, and it'll be in the parking lot.
Now, here
dear
again,
heaven,
with the
we have to
logistical
hope for a good
problem,
day.
they're going to have to get forks in there to move those pallets off there and stack them and so forth. So again, it's volunteerism. Everybody kind of working together here.
Come
We're
and
going to
bring
get this
your
job
forklift.
done. Who's got a forklift? So, or have you made arrangements to bring one in for that day?
Well, actually, they move food all the time. So the truck they have has a Tommy Gator lift gate on the back,
Okay.
and they use what they call a pallet jack. So it's basically they pull it off on the time and they've set it to the ground and move it wherever they want to. So they do that all the time. What this is an outlet for they receive produce and milk products that are close to out of date, but they only come to Lincoln once a month. They only come to every other pantry once a month. So they can't get rid of this in a timely manner. So they're going to start setting these up so they can do that. So they will be asking whoever's supplying their milk or whatever that we need milk and we're going to Lincoln on the 10th. Do you have anything available?
There you go.
So that's how that
There
works.
was a program that was operating in Lincoln that you could buy food so much on the dollar or something. Maybe you know what that was called. It's no longer in existence. At any rate, the upshot of the whole thing is I wanted to ask you, when that program came to an end, did that make a difference to your attendance?
We didn't see any difference, and I know what you're talking about, but we couldn't see any difference. Mainly because we don't structure who's going to come to our place. We don't coordinate it with other food pantries. People can go from one to the other. So it really wouldn't have made any difference anyway. Our customers, if they qualify, then they can come.
Then they're welcome.
Yeah.
One final question. I think the clock's about to expire on us. I hope I don't before the clock does.
Well, that wasn't a very nice thing to say.
No, seriously. Is there a seasonal spike in the need, summer versus winter or so forth? Is there any corollary to that at all?
No.
None. Yeah. The need is there no matter what the temperature is.
It varies, but it's just because of the mobile society, and some months it's like maybe February is way off. There's no explanation why, but it picks right back up. So there's no really seasonal spike that's noticeable.
Would you have a wind-up question for these young men?
No, but you give your kudos all the time. I certainly give kudos to you and all of the people who help you and all of the people who donate the money and the goods to you, because all that is necessary. You've got to have help, and volunteers are the answer, aren't they?
Well, they are, and I think that if you could come to the food pantry and see, you'll notice that the people leaving there have a substantial amount of food in their baskets, and but our numbers are increasing, and in December, I don't think we said that, but last December was our highest number with 504 families coming that month. But I suspect that April, this month, will be right in there. Last month was in March was nearly that high, and I suspect that April will be also.
So the need is increasing. So we have to step up to the plate. We have to step up to the plate.
Well, Norm Newhouse and Bill Overton had a difficult time getting here this morning due to Union Pacific and working on the railroads. I presume you ended up in Atlanta and then got directed there out of Atlanta.
That's right.
Well, sorry, we owe you a big one there because I should have advised you that Lawndale was open. We always try to close Viewpoint with a saying pertinent to the subject matter. This has to do with charity, and this, Judy Kay, kind of personify what Bill and Norman do and their cohorts there at the food pantry. And it says, if you give money, spend yourself with it. Food for thought on that. Thank you very much for Viewpoint.
Thank you for having me.